everyone. How are you? How's everybody doing? Happy Sunday. Hopefully everyone's had a fantastic day. I'm just gonna wait a few minutes to see if anybody comes on live for today's live oracle card readings and our weekly guidance to help us get through the week and you know, the current days ahead. So I'm just gonna see if anybody pops on and then we'll get this going. Hey, Deborah. Hey, Sarah. I'm just giving people a few minutes to get on and then we'll get started. I hope you're safe in Morocco, Sarah. How's it going over there? Okay, so I have some people coming on, which is great. Oh yeah, perfect. Sarah, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start by just doing a card for all of us with a little bit of guidance, and then I will pull individual cards. So if anybody wants a oracle card reading, I just want you to put a thumbs up in the comments below, because then it's just a visual for me. So if you can use the thumbs up emoji, then I won't miss you. So let's get started. So hey everyone, thanks for joining the Unmask and Evolve podcast. Today is Sunday. We're going into the spiritual direction and pulling some oracle cards to see kind of what the guidance is that we need during this time. It's a time of great uncertainty for the collective, for the globe. It's quite a unique time, and probably, you know, something that most people have never experienced, and hopefully we will not, experience this again in our lifetime. So today I'm going to start by pulling a card and giving us a little bit of guidance for the week, as well as a quote from my big inspiration deck and a card from The Universe Has Its Back. And so the card for the guidance I've pulled from A Yogic Path by Sahara Rose. It's my favorite deck so far. And let's start with that. So I've already pulled the cards. I haven't flipped them over. I don't know what they say. And we'll start with that. So the card for A Yogic Path is Dhurga. And Dhurga looks like a god with multiple arms. There's snakes and kind of the third eye in the picture. Beautiful card. So let's start reading what this is all about. I've never pulled this card before, so I can't even off the top of my head give you an idea of what it is all about. So Dhurga, goddess of inner strength and protection. So if we're in balance with Dhurga, the guidance is you're exhibiting great strength in the face of things that would make others, including former versions of yourself, crumble. Dhurga, the warrior goddess, is with you, carrying her bow and sword, arrows, trident, lotus, thunderbolt, golden discus, and conch. You are embodying her fierce strength and loving protection. You have overcome major hardships with your willpower and will continue to leap over any challenges that confront you. Call upon Durga Ma whenever you need an extra ounce of strength. And in the reverse, perhaps you feel anxious, sad, lost, and confused and could use a bit of strength to power you through this. Just remember the hardships are temporary and an opportunity to develop tenacity. The one thing you can instantly change are your present thoughts. The rest will shift after that. Repeat the Durga mantra for the beloved guidance. She exists within. And so the mantra is Om Dam Durage Nama. So this is, an incredible card for this time, right? I mean, we are in a world of an uncertainty, and we all are feeling this uncertainty, whether that is uncertainty in regards to our health, uncertainty in regards to our finances, uncertainty in our work, uncertainty in our routines. We're really trying to adjust to a new normal. And with that, it brings a lot of emotion, right? And it brings up a collective vulnerability, right? We are all feeling incredibly vulnerable. And however, we are being touched by this. And I want to remind you that, although COVID-19 is very much a physical illness that will affect the physical body, it is going to affect us mentally and emotionally far before we get sick with it. We're expecting about 30% of the population to become sick with COVID-19. Thankfully, the majority of people are going to handle that quite well. And, it's only really 1% that will need hospitalization and potentially high-level acute care beds. And so, we're really trying to flatten the curve, to slow people from getting sick. So a whole bunch of people don't get sick at the same time so that we don't overwhelm our healthcare resources. But also, self-isolation, social distancing, hand washing, and all of this kind of stuff will help hopefully decrease the number of people who will get sick. So with that, there is, an incredible amount of vulnerability. People are losing their jobs. People are, losing their, if they are still working, some of their income. Many people are sick about, or many people are scared about getting sick. There's a huge population of us who are now have our children at home, and we're trying to manage working, having a child at home and doing home learning. I hate to say homeschooling or home teaching because I'm a nurse. I am not a teacher. I have a great deal of respect for my teaching colleagues, and I can't fill those shoes. So we're all adjusting. We're adjusting in multiple ways. COVID-19 will affect us personally. We may know somebody that will get sick, or we may experience a sickness ourselves, or we'll know a friend of a friend. Eventually, we'll all be intimately touched by that. And so there's with uncertainty, our brain is doing exactly what it's meant to do. It's scanning the environment. It's looking at things and saying, is this safe or unsafe? That reptilian brain is coming up and saying, hey, this is an unknown, this is uncertainty, this is unsafe. And so with that comes fear, right? And with fear comes a variety of feelings and emotions of sadness and, anxiety and anger and disbelief and a ton of things. And right. And feeling those feelings is important. Acknowledging those feelings are important. Normalizing these feelings are important. Because when we do that, we don't act in a scary way, right? So when we are scared, we don't have to be scary. And what do I mean by that? When people are scared and they're acting in a scary way, they're hoarding resources, they are unkind, they are maybe judgmental and harsh of other people. We act in ways that are not our best selves. And none of us are immune. We all have our moments. Trust me, I've judged people for not social distancing, and I just have to check myself, right? Because the reality is that we only have control over ourselves. And this is what is important. And so we can worry about getting sick, but that's a what if. That is our mind taking us on a long, long journey down a rabbit hole. What we can work on, what we can control is our thoughts, our feelings, our behaviors, our actions, our words. And being in the moment is really incredibly important, because if we're thinking about tomorrow or next week or what are we going to do in a month from now, that's where we're going to end up in our head in a very dangerous place, in the what if world, making a fictitious plan that is going to get us incredibly overwhelmed, make us disconnected. The reality is we are incredibly strong. We have been through many things in our lives. We all have stories of hardships and challenges that we've overcome. We're going to figure it out. And we're going to deal with it head on when we get to it. But let's enjoy this moment. Let's enjoy the incredible lessons that COVID is bringing, the collective is bringing humanity. I think it's going to teach us a lot of really great lessons. And so, I've spoken to you guys in previous videos about, what I feel the lessons are for me. And I've asked you all to kind of reflect on that. What are the lessons that you have with this? And yeah, so in this time of uncertainty that is going to bring up a lot of fear, what we need to focus on are the things that we can control, which is us. So our thoughts, our words, our behaviors, our feelings. We cannot control other people's thoughts, other people's actions, other people's behaviors, and there's no sense in engaging. So calling people out for not social distancing on Facebook is just going to aggravate you. Being upset by, somebody doing something unkind, we have to let that go. This is really going to humble us in just really focusing on the simplicity of life, whether that's cooking a home meal, whether that's connecting with your family, whether that's going for a walk. It's encouraging us to slow down and really, enjoy the moment. And that's what's going to get us through. And I think that this card speaks to that in such a deep and profound level, because we all need to get out of our heads and focus on what we can control. Because I can really get scared about the impact of this on the world, in a huge, huge way, because I work in the healthcare system. I know what the capability is. And I can go down that rabbit hole, and feed off of other events that I've experienced in my life. But there is no point to that. There is no point being fearful that myself or my daughter or my husband will get sick. There is no point for me to be fearful of my family members across Canada and abroad getting sick, because I will deal with it in that moment. Because if I do think about those things, it's stealing time from me, it's stealing energy, it's stealing space from enjoying this moment. And so that's what I kind of encourage you to do right now. So with that being said, I'm going to flip the other cards. The first card is from the universe, has your back, and it's saying the universe has our back. We're going to get through this. It's going to be messy. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be push us to our limits in a variety of ways, but we're going to get through this. We are strong. We are smart. We have more resources and strengths than we actually even realize, and we will get through this. I think the other thing that is important during this time is, it's important for us to be honest with how we're feeling, which is where the vulnerability comes in, right? Because our brain is telling us, this is scary. We need to self-protect. And when we self-protect, we go into self-isolation. And right now, self-isolation, or at any time, isolating ourselves, it can be very dangerous, right? Because we end up in our heads. And connection is really important. And in order to have, and this is Brene Brown's work. If you have time to read or listen to audiobooks, I really highly suggest Brene Brown, because what she talks about is the importance of connection, and connection requires us to be vulnerable, which means we have to take an emotional risk. We have to put ourselves out there. We have to, we have uncertainty because we don't know how people are going to react to us being honest and open and really showing ourselves. So kind of getting naked. And that's important to be vulnerable, but it's that vulnerability is essential to have true connection. What we're going to find right now is our society doesn't need small talk, right? Our society doesn't have that, where we can kind of be superficial. We really need connection right now. And so we need to get vulnerable. We need to be honest. We need to be kind. We need to be awkward, and we need to be messy. So we need to show up and say, this is how I'm feeling. I felt so much better after I did my video with you guys on Friday, when I said, you know what? I'm not handling this as gracefully as I thought I would. And being vulnerable with you guys, it was like a weight was taken off my shoulders, because I feel sometimes, not that anyone expects this of me, but I feel like people are watching me. I have all these tools. I got to hold it together. People are relying on me to be strong. And the reality is I'm doing everybody a disservice if I am not vulnerable, if I am not honest, right? If I come up here and say that I have all the answers, I don't. And so by being messy, by being honest, by being awkward, we are being brave, we are being courageous, which is essential for vulnerability. But it's also essential for connection, because we appreciate people more when we see behind the mask. We see behind the facade. We see beyond the superficialness, right? And so that is what's really essential. And so, again, the universe has our back. And it's teaching us, the collective about vulnerability, and a variety of other things. And today's quote is, "You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream." And so this time is a great time to kind of reevaluate our lives and say, okay, what are we tolerating? What is working well? What isn't? And really focusing on that, because we have been given time. Our lives go by so fast, and we've been kind of in a hamster wheel going like 100 miles an hour, and the world has slowed down significantly. And this is a gift of time that we can be investing in ourselves to learn more about ourselves, to grow, to evolve. So yeah, I think these are all fantastic messages for today. So for those of you that are listening to the podcast, thanks for tuning in. I ask you to, get vulnerable, be honest with your feelings, review what the lessons are for you with this pandemic. What do you think this is going to bring up for you? What is it going to trigger in you? Because whatever it triggers is what we need to dive deeper in and find out. And I ask you to kind of really enjoy the mundane, get into the moment and enjoy everything that we've sort of passed by and forgotten about. So you can follow me on Facebook at Unmask and Evolve. You can follow me on Instagram at Unmask and Evolve. You can check out my website at www.unmaskandevolve.ca. And we'll see you again soon. Take care. Okay, guys, thanks for joining. We're going to do live readings. So Sarah Mitchell wants a reading. If you want to read, Deb wants a reading. Anybody If you'd like a card, just put a thumbs up emoji just so I have a visual cue. Tony, I see that you've written wanting a card. Anybody else who wants a card pulled for them, please just put a thumbs up emoji in the comments so that I can see, have that visual cue. Because when I'm scanning the comments, I don't read them if I'm trying to find who's next. So let's start with Sarah. Okay, perfect. Okay, Sarah, I'm getting Mavati. And just gonna read this to you. So Dhumavati, goddess of disappointment and letting go. So if you're in balance, then the reading is, you are my darling. You finally realize that all of the hardships and struggles you faced were brought on your path for a very important reason. They've shaped you to be the person you are today. You have pulled together the dots on all the most difficult points of your journey and realized that it was all necessary to be here now. Dhumavati has come to remind you to give thanks to the struggles you faced. They have made you your highest self. And so the reverse of this card is, letting go is not a bad thing when you know it's making space for something better. Dhumavati is the pain and the struggle that makes you who you are. She is the phase right before enlightenment when you experience the void. She is your shadow self, the thing you didn't want to look at, even though it is a core part of who you are. She is moving past the illusion, Maya, looking life and death right in the eye and seeing they are both sides of the same coin. Know that Dhumavati is guiding you through this difficult time, and your highest self awaits on the other side. I think that's a great card for, for all of us, really, about kind of looking at this situation and seeing the good and the bad. I mean, everything has a yin and the yang. I mean, we wouldn't, there's an old Buddhist prophecy that says if life was easy, we wouldn't be happy, right? Because happiness comes through achieving and overcoming challenges. If life was easy, we wouldn't be happy. And the reality is we can't be 100% happy all the time. Certainly we can see, in every moment we can see that, the good and the bad. But life is going to challenge us because that's how we evolve and that's how we become, a better self. And so, this pandemic is kind of a force against the globe, saying, hey, you guys have been naughty, and let's take a step back. There's some stuff there, and this is going to trigger a lot of things in many of us, for us to just dig deeper, right? And for me, it's really that connection with my daughter, and to be a little bit more silly and goofy and not taking myself so seriously. That's what my lesson is. It's really about letting go of control, letting go of perfectionism, letting go of certainty, right? So let me know, Sarah, if that sits well with you. Deborah, will do you next. Sarah saying, I just want to say how much I appreciate and enjoyed all the info you share on your Facebook page. It's really helped me remain calm. I appreciate that, Sarah. That fills me up. Thank you. Okay, perfect. So let's do Deborah, and see where we're at. Okay. And Deborah, you're getting, oops, Ojas. So let's look Ojas up. I've read this card quite a few times. It comes up a lot, at least once a session. So it's the subtle essence of health and well-being, peaceful and patient. If we're in balance, it's one look is all it takes to see how much Ojas someone has. Have people been coming up to you and telling you how healthy, rested, and happy you look? This is Ojas. Ojas is the subtle essence related to health and well-being with which you are fulfilled. You radiate good health with your glowing skin, peaceful demeanor, and patient essence. Your dietary and lifestyle choices are showing up in your appearance, and your inner state is reflecting in your outer. Continue caring for your sacred vessel and nourishing your body with the foods and practices that make you thrive. In the reverse, has your health taken a back seat to other matters? This must change. The only way you can truly care for others is if you care for yourself first. You must put on your own air mask before you can attend to the needs of others. Make time for sleep, cooking, meditation, and yoga. Though you may feel that you don't have time for these things, the truth is you won't have much time without them. And this is also a really good reminder, is that we have been given the gift of time and the gift to be able to prioritize some things. And certainly many of us are still working and our lives are busy, but this is really the time for us to be focusing on our health, because without our health, we don't have anything. Our health is our greatest wealth at the end of the day. And so, it was funny because last week I didn't get as much, the last few weeks, actually, I haven't gotten very much exercise in. And just running around like a chicken with my head cut off, being busy, right? And it's really important that we prioritize, movement and nourishing our bodies well. Because in a time of fear and uncertainty, and I was in this too, I was starting to eat. I was wanting comfort, and just soothing myself. And it's okay to have those periods where we self-soothe, but there's periods of time where we need to kind of snap out of it and say, okay, what is the thing that I'm going to do this week that is going to focus on me and my wellness? And that might be meditation, that might be movement, that might be, nourishing, that might be sleep, that might be just hydration. And remember, I always talk about the 1%, just doing something by 1%. So for me, this week, I'm really focusing on getting a walk in every day. So that's my 1%. And then go from there. So I think that, this time, I think this is a great card for everybody, is that this time is telling us, if we don't have our own health, we don't have anything against this virus. And without health, we don't have wealth. We don't have so much. It's really such an important part of our lives. So let me know how that sits for you. So Tony Ames Campbell, I'll do a card for you. It's funny, in that fear, when I was talking about like that self-protection, our brain is like protect, isolate, right? And so we abandon kind of our routines and stuff, and we go into hibernation. It's like, okay, we're gonna, we don't move as much. We get into our heads. We comfort ourselves with food. maybe comfort ourselves with a little bit of drink. Yeah, it's really interesting how our brain, and so I want to say that no matter what you're doing, that's normal, right? It's whatever you're doing to cope right now is normal, and it's okay. And don't feel shameful about it. Don't feel guilty about it. Show yourself love and compassion and saying, hey, I'm doing the best that I can right now. But this is what I'm going to, this is what I want to do. Right. Because the problem is when we shame and blame ourselves about our habits, then we never get back on. Because shame and guilt is not enough of a motivating factor for us to take care of ourselves, for us to feel that we're worthy of all of those things that we can do to improve our health and well-being. Okay. Tony, you're getting the card Ahimsa. Ahimsa. This is a card that we pull pretty much every week as well, eh, guys? Okay, so Ahimsa, Yama, means nonviolence. So if we're in balance with Ahimsa, it says you have been observant of how your thoughts affect your actions and how your actions reflect the quality of your life. Through actively changing your internal monologue, you are manifesting a heightened state of consciousness and a new paradigm. Continue to fine-tune your inner language to radiate compassion, joy, and peace. Even the most disciplined yogi still often look in the mirror and think negative thoughts about themselves, get frustrated when stuck in traffic, or speak words to a loved one that don't radiate pure love. These moments are your guru reminding you of where you still need to grow. Overcoming your triggers facilitates growth. Each time you feel the voice of negativity come through, sing back to it words of ahimsa, compassion. You'll quickly find these words echoed back by all those you encounter. In the reverse, so if we're not in balance, it's time to be a little nicer to yourself. Ahimsa, nonviolence, is often practiced by yogis when it comes to others. But what about nonviolence towards ourselves? As the Buddha says, the thought manifests as the word, and the word manifests as the deed, and the deed develops into habits, and habits hardens into character. So watch the thought and its ways with care, and let it spring from love born out of concern for all beings. As the shadow follows the body, as we think, so we become. The way we speak to ourselves becomes the way we speak to others, and the reality we reside in. Catch yourself when a self-defeating thought comes to mind. Would you say this to your child, your best friend, or anyone for that matter? Honor yourself in the same way. And I think this is a great card, especially with all the feelings that are coming up, because, I'm sure as I last week was like, I should know better. Why am I feeling this way? I have these tools. We need to show ourselves compassion, and that we are allowed to feel, and we're going to feel a variety of things. And it's going to be, it's learning to surf, right? From one day to the next. Today I'm having a great day. Tomorrow I might not, and that's okay. Not saying, well, so-and-so is coping better than me. They're not having any problem with this, but, I can't seem to get out to the grocery store. When we start the comparison game, then we end up shaming ourselves further, right? And we can't do that. The reality is if you are going shopping right now or going out, is anxiety provoking? That's okay. So then negotiate with somebody. Hey, can you drop stuff off for me? Can somebody else? That is not failure. Okay. I want to be clear with that. That is not failure. That is, working with yourself to protect your emotional, mental well-being. That is saying, you know what? you know, this is what I'm willing to do. And, you know, this tips me over and I need to protect my emotional and mental well-being right now. And this is too much. I mean, it's all you're doing is putting a loving boundary in place, and boundaries is um, the ultimate act of self-love, right? So when we put boundaries with people and say, oh, I'm going to limit my time with that, or we put boundaries in place about going to certain, you know, activities or events. I mean, going shopping can be that boundary for you, and that's loving kindness. That's self-compassion. That's saying, hey, to your partner, hey, you know what? Can you be the runner because this is too much for me? You know, that's cool. So don't feel defeated. So Tony, let me know if that sits still for you, sits where that sits for you. Okay. Um, okay, Lori, we'll do a card for you. And then we'll do one for B and Dawn. Okay. Oh, so Melissa, if you're still on, I'll tell you. So Oracle cards, they're just they're a deck of cards, and you can get them in a variety of kinds. I have a variety of them. It's like tarot. So I don't know if you know tarot. Um, and there's a variety of different kinds. And the way I use oracle cards is it's a way for me to um, strengthen my inner gut instinct, because I think, like many of us, we're taught at a very young age not to listen to that because we are taught to conform. As a woman or even a man, you're taught, okay, by the time you're 10 or 12, it's like, okay, it's okay to feel this, this, and this. It's okay to express this, but it isn't okay to be this. You know, we're taught as women, you know, your physical appearance is super important. You need to fit into this type of a mold. You have to be a people pleaser. You need to be, you know, so we lose contact with our inner guidance a lot of times. And, you know, balancing that divine feminine energy, and listening to that intuition is really important, because we lose that when we people please. We lose that when we are a perfectionist. We lose that when we are workaholics. We lose that. And I say all of that because I am those things. And so oracle cards have been a tool that I use to help me try to figure out if I'm going through something and I'm thinking, what am I supposed to learn from this? What is the guidance here? Then basically all you do is you shuffle the cards, you take a few deep breaths, either put your hands on the cards or whatever, and then pick a card and read it and see how it sits for you. And the cards, I don't know, many people have been watching this. The cards don't lie. It's really fascinating. I'm still fascinated by it when I pull the cards and I think, wow, this hits home, right? This is exactly what we're supposed to say. And so, you know, some people say, hey, Shasta, that is too spiritual, nutso. I don't believe in that. And that's okay. But I just use it as a tool. It's fun. And it provides a lot of comfort for me when I need to kind of think about what the meaning of whatever is. So yeah, so that's oracle cards. So, you know, you don't need training to do it. Anybody can pick up a deck. You can get decks at Hay House online or Chapters or anywhere. And I have a couple of decks. I was gifted my first deck actually, and I was like, oh my God, do I need to take a course to do this? And you just randomly pull cards, and then I just got more comfortable with it. So yeah, so that's what this is all about. Deborah is saying, heard this card before and it definitely speaks loads of truth. Yeah. Yeah, the comfort food was real. Yeah. And the junk, yeah, exactly. No, totally. And I was in the food comfort as well. Lots of carbs and stuff like that, because I was just feeling unraveled and feeling a lot of guilt and shame that I wasn't handling things the way I should. And, you know, the reality is we're doing the best that we can. And I need to remember that, and I need to show myself self-compassion. And so this is what this is teaching me. Yeah, Tony is saying, yeah, self-talk and boundaries. Yep. Okay, good. Melissa, do you want me to pull a card for you? Do you want to see what this is all about? Put a thumbs up emoji in the comments if you want one. And if you don't, that's okay too. Okay, so let's do Lori. So one of the things that I've been doing to kind of manage my anxiety, which might be helpful for some of you, is saying the affirmation, I am safe, I am safe, I am safe, I am safe. And so pretty much I repeat it. And you can, so an affirmation is an I am statement followed by whatever that kind of resonates with you. So, sometimes I say, I am safe, I am loved, I'm strong, I have the tools, I have all the tools I need within me, and if that feels good, then, that is something, and you can use any affirmation. For me, I have affirmations that I use for my business. I say, I am a rock star, $1 million entrepreneur, who is, excited for, extreme wealth and abundance. And that fires me up to think that maybe one day. So, so those affirmations can be really helpful to kind of keep you centered. And for me, that I am safe, I am loved, I have, all the tools within me to get through this has been really comforting for me. And so that might be a tool that people want to use. So Lori, you're getting Ojas as well. So that balance, and maybe it's just, over the lot, because there's, a little bit more anxiety, it's your usual habits of and then trying to work from home, which changes our routines. And I think it's just looking at, okay, where's the balance? What, and for me, what I'm realizing is, I have to change my expectations of myself. We can't think that we can work, even if we're working from home, that we can have the same output as what we did before all of this happened, because now we have a lot of emotions and feelings that are occupying space within us. And so we're not going to be able to give 100% every day. And we need to be okay with giving 80, and that's okay. Right. And so I think maybe for that card, what it's saying is, do you need to kind of renegotiate what your expectations of yourself are right now? Because I know that that's been huge for me. Because for me, I had created this plan. I was like, oh, on paper, it looked fantastic. And then a few days in, I'm like, oh my God, I'm drowning. I can't keep up with this. But then feeling kind of like I'm failing, but I haven't, right? It's just my expectations were too high. And we just have to say, okay, no, let's cut down, step back. Let's look at, okay, where can I trim? What can I take off the plate that is really not necessary at this time? And increasing the self-care. So all the self-care that we were doing before, important on a daily basis, but we need to ramp up that self-care even more, right? Because we're in a time of uncertainty where there's a lot more emotion and a lot more anxiety and fear. And so we do need to ramp that up. So, making sure we're doing something for ourselves, regardless of what that is. That might be listening to an audiobook. It might be going for a walk. It might be a hot bath. It might be doing some baking and giving it to a friend. It might be, cooking a home cooked meal. Whatever that self-care looks like. Self-care can be a variety of things. It doesn't have to be a pedicure and a face mask. really amping that up more than we ever have before. Okay. And we'll do you next. Okay. Okay, perfect. Okay, good. So Lori's saying she's going back to half days. Good, good. And you know what? This is a real time to talk to employers and be saying like, hey, I know for my husband's job, we've had this discussion, although he's working from home and they're understanding that he also has a little one at home and, we're both trying to work. That, their expectation still is for him to provide 100% of his work, just maybe not in an 8-hour day, but maybe for him to do work in the evening. And so we've had discussions about that's unrealistic. It's unrealistic because then he's not getting that downtime that he needs. And so for him, it's really, it's important that we're negotiating with our employers and saying, this is what I'm able to do realistically, because I'm, this is where I'm at. Right. So we have to give ourselves permission, but we also have to advocate for what looks realistic for us and not feel guilty for not being at 150%, which is, I think everybody on here is very much a perfectionist like I am. And so we are very high functioning. And so we make things look really easy, right? And people are always usually shocked when we say that we're struggling because we still keep it all together, right? Our house is still pristine, our kids, has clean clothes and everything is working, right? But inside, we're decaying. And we can't, in this situation, we cannot let that happen. So that is truly important right now. So B, let's pull a card for you. I'm sorry to hear that you're having a hard time, B. And B, you're also getting Ojas. So this is really about balance, about, are you doing self-care? Are you being hard on yourself? Saying that, well, you shouldn't be grieving the way that you're grieving and you shouldn't be sad. Are you, still trying to work and be everything to everybody? Because maybe this is a time where you look at realistically, what is it that you're able to do? And right now, being in a place of mourning, you might not be able to do anything for anybody else, and that is okay. That is okay, unless you want to, unless it's a distraction. But it's really important that you are able to delineate the difference between having a distraction or feeling like you have to, because you want the interaction to be able for you to get something out of it, right? Not because you feel like you have to. So I really want to encourage you to kind of look at that. The other thing I want to make sure is like, are you getting enough fluid? Are you getting enough rest? How is the nutrition? Are you eating? Are you getting some sunlight? Are you getting out for a car ride, even just for a walk? Yeah. Okay. And reach out to me. Let me know how you feel about that card. Dawn, are you back in Canada? And Dawn, you're getting a himsa, which is really about that self-talk, hey? just scrolling through here. Yeah. Okay, so you're back in Penticton, and so I guess you're on isolation right now because you just came from the States, eh? So ahimsa. So I want you to reflect on kind of, are you being kind to yourself? Are you showing yourself compassion? Are you, and if you are, that's amazing. Or has all of this brought up, has rattled you a bit? Like it has for all of us. I mean, I don't think anyone is untouched by this really. Um, you know, I think, whether we want to believe it or not, everybody is affected. Um, and if they're saying they're doing well, we all know about that. So I want you to kind of reflect about those self-defeating thoughts and how the fear piece, right? And that it's okay to be vulnerable with people, and it's okay to that's being vulnerable is an act of true bravery and courage. When we are emotionally vulnerable with people, when we're taking a risk by sharing something with somebody, when we don't know how they're going to reciprocate that, when there's an uncertainty involved, right? But people value that so much because they feel like they've connected to you on a different level. So I'm going to get you to think about that. Yeah, Dawn riled me more than I imagined. Yeah. Okay, so you're on the wait list to come out of retirement to help as a nurse. Amazing, amazing. And 6 more days. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, I'm an introvert, and I'm okay with not talking to people most of the time. But didn't realize how much socialization I got in my work. Um, and just being able to go to a coffee shop and sit there and feel social, but a bit in my own world, working. And so, yeah, it's been hard, right? Yeah, I think and I think it's really hard for people that are extroverts who get, who get their energy from groups of people, from being out in groups and socializing and doing activities. I think, unfortunately, that group of people is probably really, really suffering a lot right now. Okay, so I think Melissa, you're next. Okay. You've been a head case at the pharmacy and eating a lot. Yeah, yeah. It's I know that first of all, thank you. Thank you for the work that you do. The pharmacies are slammed right now. They are trying to keep up with major medication shortages. And we really underestimate the amount of emotional and mental support that you guys provide to people, right? People are coming, they trust you, they are telling you how scared they are, they're telling you about their health, and you are a resource and a supportive network. And thank you for the work that you do. Thank you everybody who is out there working, who is a frontline worker. Whether that's working at Walmart or a pharmacy or, you know, working at Costco, anybody that is putting themselves out there to the public right now is someone I highly respect. Yeah. Okay, perfect. So, okay, so Melissa, so if anybody else wants a card reading, just put a thumbs up emoji in the comments, and I'll do a couple more before I sign off. And Melissa, you're getting Diana. And I've never pulled this card. There's two women dancing and like a sun dollar. We'll see what this says. Okay. So dhyana, the 8 stages of yoga, concentration and meditation with the intention to know the truth. So if we're in balance, it's saying, when was the last time you fully became immersed in what you were doing? Dhyana is when the dancer becomes the dance, the singer becomes the song, and the painter becomes the paint. The lover becomes the love. There is no difference between the doer and the deed. You merge as one. You have pulled the Dhyana card to remind you that now is the time to transition from doing to embodying. Find that which you can merge with and practice it fully, becoming the words in your journal, the asana in your practice, the nature with which you surround yourself with, and notice your presence expanded. In the reverse, fear, loneliness, jealousy, sadness, and anger all come from the same source, separation. The illusion that we are separated from all around us fundamentally creates the human condition of suffering. Our identities are temporary. States are beings. You are being you. I am being me. The bird is being a bird. The tree is being a tree. However, we all rise from the same source, Atman, consciousness. Through dhyana, the practice of deep concentration, you become fully immersed with that which you are concentrating on and experiencing oneness. With this, you are experiencing a glimpse of your soul. You are the sunlight, the earth, the moon, the soil, and you are never alone. So I think this is an excellent card, because when we are in our heads, in that craziness of anxiety and stress and fear and whatever that ongoing monologue is, the stories that we tell ourselves, we are not present, right? We are, and my greatest example of this, which is my biggest teaching through this, is being present and engaged with my daughter. As a parent, I haven't, usually I'm not in the moment with her, connecting with her. I'm thinking about, the laundry or the grocery shopping or, whatever other thing is on my to-do list. And this is a time where we really need to be present, valuing the simplistic things in our lives, being grateful for the things that we can have, because this has shown that, the COVID-19 has shut down the world, right? And has shown us that things are very temporary, right? And that, materialism and wealth and, all of that kind of stuff doesn't really matter at the end of the day, right? Because it's knocking everyone out. So, I think this is a great reminder for all of us to get out of our heads, into our hearts, into the present moment, because that's what we can do right now. Yeah. So let me know what you think about that card. Hey, Auntie Penny, do you want a card? Okay, perfect. I'm going to give people just like one more chance to put a thumbs up emoji in the comments below. And if you want me to read my last card. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And yeah, and I will be on Wednesday for Ask a Nurse Practitioner Live. So you guys can find me there. Send me your medical questions. I'll probably do a lot more video. I find that with one of the things I'm having to juggle is time. And so you'll just find me doing a lot more short videos than actual written posts, because that's kind of where, what I can do. And I think connecting with you guys is important. So I really do want to continue providing a lot of content, tips and tricks, and just being really honest and vulnerable with, where I'm at, and hopefully it'll help somebody else. So we'll pull a card from Auntie Penny. So Melissa's saying thank you. I guess I need to just get out of my head for a bit and take some time to meditate or yoga it up. Yeah, exactly. I always say if I'm in my head, it's a very dangerous place. um, yeah, shit goes very wrong very fast when I'm in my head. Um, and yeah, there's nothing good that happens up there, honestly, because it's just assumptions and falsities and a lot of fictitious nonsense that causes a lot of undue suffering. It's not easy, but yeah, it's yeah. Mm. And Auntie Penny, you're getting Savad Haya. Savad Haya. So let's see what this is saying. Okay, so Savadhaya, Niyama is self-study. So if we're in balance, this is what it's saying. It says, we are each born with a book of infinite wisdom, stories, inventions, and emotions. This book is our own consciousness. If we take the path to truly studying the self, we will never become bored with our findings. Instead of trying to acquire more information, take the focus inward. There are cosmos in your consciousness you have yet to venture into that have more beauty than any artwork, more mystery than your favorite thriller, more magnificence than all earthly creations. However, the passport requires to reach these vistas is stillness. Through withdrawing from external stimulus, you can move into the true stimulus, the world inside you and beyond. The reverse. Who are you? It may sound like an abrupt question, but it's one you should be asking yourself every day. When we don't ask ourselves who we are, we take a version of ourselves that other people sized us for. In truth, you are not your personality. That is a temporary and ever-changing facade you use to interact with the world, with the outside world. This is the time to go deeper into the very nature of the self. The self is beyond personality quizzes or even doshas. This self is the infinite soul, one that exists across experiences, bodies, personalities, and even lifetimes. Regain touch with the deep-seated self by doing things that make you forget who you are. Meditate, dance, chant mantras, spend time immersed in nature, move past the mind. You will notice your personality quickly shifts and anchors into your truth when you've reunited with your soul. It's a great card. Let me know what you think. I think it's a great card for all of us because we keep ourselves so busy to avoid being with ourselves. And so, having that stillness is important, really, to kind of check in with ourselves to say, hey, what do I need? What do I feel about that? Because we're so busy people pleasing most of the time and just busy. We are not connected with who we are and what we want, really. We're doing things based on shoulds and what ifs. So thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys next week. Reach out if you need anything. Don't hesitate to private message me. And I'm always here if you have any questions. So take care, and I will see you guys later. Take care. Bye.